Hello, it is FMC. I'm Jeremy. That is SP3. And SP3, it happened. It finally happened. The Portland Trailblazers made their move, and they did not give in to the pressure of the Miami Heat, as I said they shouldn't. I said all these people were being little. I'm going to curse and get us demonetized immediately. Look at that. I watched myself. Growth, everybody. They were being little bees. I said they shouldn't do it. Don't give in to this. He is in no position to make these demands. He's got 4 years left on this deal. 4 years. Don't take Tyler Hero. You're over here. Tyler Hero's good. It's okay. He'll be fine with Tyler Hero. Why wouldn't you take this package? It's great. This is a great trade offer. No, it was a garbage trade offer, and they knew it. So don't give in to this. Somebody will come around. Somebody will step up. They did. The Milwaukee Bucks stepped up because Giannis said, we got to do something. We got to prove we're here to win.
Giannis said, I'm not going to sign another contract. How about that?
Yeah. Giannis said, we got to do something to win. They're like, all right, we hear you, Giannis. We hear you. Let's go get Damian Lillard. You like Damian Lillard. You picked Damian Lillard in the NBA All-Star draft over your own teammate, Jrue Holiday. We know you like Damian Lillard. Let's go get Damian Lillard. And they went out and they got Lillard. And then the Blazers, what were they able to do with Jrue Holiday? Flipped him for more that they wouldn't have been able to do because to Tyler Hero, because nobody wanted Tyler Hero like that. They don't love Tyler Hero like that around the league. Everybody wanted Jrue Holiday. They were lining up to get Jrue Holiday. Tyler Hero, they would have just been stuck with that man. Stuck with him. Big trades in the NBA finally went down. James Harden is still being a little B. He can't get traded nowhere because nobody loves him like that either. SB3, this trade happened.
Who do they love less, James Harden or Tyler Hero?
They probably love James Harden less, honestly. I feel like Tyler Hero has more of a market. At least he's young. And they probably love James Harden less. We finally had trades, SP3. Finally. After I thought it was going to finally happen in like August. It didn't happen until the end of September, but they happened. Lillard is officially part of the Milwaukee Bucks. Jrue Holiday goes to Boston. It's a 2-team race in the East. What do you make of these moves?
Boston and Milwaukee separated themselves from the pack in the Eastern Conference. It's like ridiculous how much they are 1-2 depending on who you ask. After the Damian Lillard trade, I was firmly with Milwaukee was number one. Boston had number one after their offseason, but after the Damian Lillard trade, I was like, Milwaukee's number one now. They pushed ahead. They got the best duo in the Eastern Conference, even better than Tatum and Brown. And I was like, I like Porzingis on that team. He gives them a big man that can stretch the floor, but Porzingis is very unreliable as far as being on the floor, especially when he's playing with other players who are better or are the same quality of player that he is. He just tends to not be on the floor that often. I know this because I lived in New York City during his time with the Knicks. So I wasn't too confident in that. I gave the Bucks the edge. But getting Jrue Holiday, I'm like, yeah, Boston done made ahead. I was already looking up flight plans for the month of June to go to Milwaukee for Lakers versus Bucks. Now I'm looking up, calling some of my friends that live in the Rhode Island and Boston area, like, can I sleep on your couch for game 1 of the NBA Finals? Because Boston looks like they're in the lead. Like their defense just took a significant upgrade after you lose someone like Marcus Smart, who was the lifeblood and the glue of their defense. You replace him with Jrue Holiday, who's a much better player, who is of the same quality defensively, if not better. And he's better. He's been a difference maker on a championship team, and he's coming off his career highs in points. He averaged 22 points per game last year. He all around numbers. His assists was very good. I think he averaged like 5-6 assists per game. This was like the ultimate upgrade for the Boston Celtics from Marcus Smart to Jrue Holiday. Now you got Porzingis. They may, I don't know about depth, losing, Malcolm Brogdon and Robert Williams might hurt the depth a little bit, but I cannot look at this Boston team and not say they're a better team than they were last week. So they have to be in the lead now, just an edge above the Milwaukee Bucks. But the gap between the Milwaukee Bucks and the next best team, which, I mean, right now it's kind of a toss-up who the next best team in the East is between your Philadelphia's. You still have, even though Miami might be the biggest loser of the offseason, I still think that they have enough talent to be a playoff team, and I still expect them to try to make some type of move, because you had Tyler Hero's name out in the news so much that you're gonna have to try to get rid of him at this point, because this is what happens when you have that name out there so much. It burns a lot of bridges. That's why Boston had a little bit of issues with Jaylen Brown, because his name was out there last offseason. But
and then they signed him to an $800 million deal.
Exactly. That's how you smooth, you grease the edges.
They already signed. They already gave Hero the contract. That was part of the reason why they couldn't move him, because nobody wanted that contract.
Also true. But yeah, they did it after the fact. That's the bad part. They should have signed him to the new contract after you had his name out into the news so much. But we shall see what's going to happen with Miami. But I can't say that Miami isn't the loser of this whole big trade, with Damian Lillard going to Milwaukee and Jrue Holiday going to the Celtics. Cleveland's in that mix as well.
Cleveland's who I'd put third.
But they have question marks too. They have maturity concerns, injury concerns. I don't know how that's gonna do, but I don't blame you if you have them third. I think it's just a toss up right now with any of those teams.
All right. A lot of stuff to talk about here. One, good on the Milwaukee Bucks for making this move. As a fan of a small market team who has taken some risk, it hasn't always worked out for my team, but I like seeing Milwaukee as a small market team do what they can to make their superstar happy, do what they can. I love when they traded for Jrue. I loved when they traded for Eric Bledsoe. It didn't work, and then they were like, hey, this ain't working. Let's go with Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday, very good regular season performer, but they didn't win the title a couple years ago without Jrue. He struggled in the playoffs with Middleton injured. He's not a number 2 guy. As a number 3 guy, I think he's great, though. I think he's great. Defensively, what he brings to the table, you can't question that. But if you got a chance to go out and get Damian Lillard, you make that move, because it means less pressure off of Middleton as the ISO creator. It means less pressure off of Giannis, who can't always get his own shot. In those moments, you need somebody to get their own shot.
And to double down on your whole point, yeah, you said Holiday might be better as a number 3. Middleton might be better as a number 3 than a number 2.
Yeah, so I think this was a great move for Milwaukee. Lillard did it. People are going to be like, oh, defense. What about their defense? Look, Lillard, not a very good defender. If they could not come up with a scheme with Giannis, Middleton, Portis, and Brook Lopez, who's like the best rim protector in the league, to hide Damian Lillard a little bit on defense, that's a coaching issue at that point. Steph Curry ain't a good defender, and yet the Warriors, during their peak years, they were able to create a scheme to where their defense was still at the top of the league. Like, they've got enough pieces around Lillard to where their defense should not suffer. It's going to suffer. It's going to suffer just because Jrue Holiday is an upgrade from Damian Lillard, but it shouldn't like fall off a cliff just because, oh, Damian Lillard's here. And their offense should be so much better that that's going to translate to just a little bit better defense as well. I love what the Bucks did. Absolutely love it. I love that Boston stepped up and went out and got Jrue Holiday when he was available, because there was teams. I think the biggest talking point was maybe a 3-team trade with the Clippers, Harden going to the Clippers, Jrue going to Philly and then whatever compensation coming back to Portland.
Philly, I felt would have been the best, like as far as like fit with his style of play and
Sure.
what they need right now, and what would be just a stark difference from James Harden. I think Drew Holiday on the Philadelphia 76ers would have worked very well, but this just seems like the best fit for Boston. This is like what they needed the most.
Oh, Boston, 100%. They stepped up. They went out and got him. Brogdon and Williams, good players. Brogdon kind of injuries kind of hampered him in the playoffs. But look, you get Jrue Holiday, who replaces Marcus Smart, which I don't think they wanted to fully trade Marcus Smart, but I
They
understood
did not.
why they did it. Like they wanted Porzingis. They wanted something different. Holiday and Porzingis give them different looks, different levels that they were kind of missing in the playoffs. Now they've got Holiday, who's going to be able to settle things down. He is much like Marcus Smart. He's just a little bit more in control than Marcus Smart. And him being a third guy with Tatum and Brown being 1-2 is also very helpful for him. He has the championship pedigree as well, which, a lot of people put a lot of importance on. People are going to talk about depth, and they're going to talk about it both with Milwaukee and with Boston. And talk about depth. Oh, they traded all their depth players and things like that. I get the concerns as a regular season. As a regular season, yeah, the depth is not quite there. They need somebody in the front court. I think they signed like Wenyen Gabriel or something. But they need some front court guys. Here's the thing with depth and why I don't think you should be too concerned about it once the playoffs come. Once the playoffs come, you got 7, 8 guys who are NBA rotational players. You're good. That's all you're playing anyway. You're not using your 9, 10 guy in the playoffs. Who cares about those guys? You need at least 7. If you have an 8th, great, but you need at least 7 NBA players for the playoffs. Like, it's a difference between Phoenix, where everybody criticized their depth, and it's like, oh, well, they have nothing beyond Durant and Booker in the playoffs last year. Yeah, their 3-4 guys weren't NBA players. That's where it becomes an issue. Boston's 3-4 guys are Jrue Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis. They're NBA players. They
Yes.
are fine. So I'm
Those
not
are
too
those are
concerned.
former all stars or all-star caliber players. Like,
Yeah,
come on.
like the depth, I don't think will be an issue once the playoffs comes. Regular season, it'll start to show itself, and then maybe regular season, if somebody goes down, if somebody needs a day off or whatever, other guys step up, and then it's like, oh, they've established themselves as NBA players. And I agree with you. Look, Porzingis is fragile. Horford is old. Depth is going to matter,
Yes.
certainly in the regular season. If you can keep those guys on the floor in the playoffs, though, that's all I'm concerned about is the playoffs. Get me to the title. The regular season, as long as you make the playoffs, after that, you're fine. They do need some extra depth in the regular season to eat up some minutes and everything. But regular season, a lot of time, talent is going to win out in a lot of these games. Oh, you got Tatum, Brown, Jrue. You're going to carry yourself to enough regular season wins to be in a good playoff spot. So it's a long season. A lot can obviously happen. I just don't get the full on depth concerns through like when it comes to the play. Oh, they've ruined their depth. They've ruined the depth. You got 7 guys. You are good when it comes to the playoffs and having depth.
I don't think people are saying it or should be saying it as a criticism. It's more of a nitpick of the whole trade and the downside of a trade. There's always going to be a downside of the trade, and with Damian Lillard to the Bucks, yeah, they sacrificed some depth, but I still think they have enough players that will make them a contender, make them in the top 3 in the East. Same with Boston. I think Boston has a little bit more of a depth issue because of their front court. They don't have a lot of bodies there that are going to be reliable for 82 games and then into the postseason, playing like 20 plus games over there in the postseason as well. I don't know if they have a lot of players and bodies to get through 100 games this upcoming season. They do need to address that. I think that the Suns addressed it beautifully. And honestly, there's an argument that the Suns were the big winner of the Damian Lillard trade.
No,
Because
absolutely not. No.
yes, they addressed a lot of their depth issues. They had a good offseason with the guys that they signed to put on the court and put on the roster. And then with this trade, getting guys like Nurkic, getting guys like Grayson Allen, these are guys that they're not gonna be starters for them, but these are gonna be rotation.
Nurkic is a starter for them. Grayson Allen probably will start.
Grayson Allen won't.
He might.
He won't. Don't worry. He won't. He won't. Grayson Allen won't.
He might start at small forward.
No, he won't. I'm telling you right now, he won't. Unless there's an injury. He is not going to be the first option to put in the starting lineup. But Nurkic, yeah, I think he was a big pickup for them. And I think that they are honestly probably a top 3, top 4 team in the West for me right now.
I mean, they definitely are. They're a very good team. I do like, by the way, I like what the Suns did. I just don't think Nurkic is this answer to what you need out there. I don't buy Nurkic at all. And I was very high on Nurkic a few years ago when he had working knees. That injury crippled him. It did. What do you want me to say? It did.
When he had working knees, you know how disrespectful that is.
The man can't play defense anymore. He used to be a defensive anchor. He used to be a force. He would terrorize OKC. I couldn't stand him. It's not there anymore. It's not. I like what the Suns did in this move. I think you had to move DeAndre Ayton. I don't think that was ever going to work. We talked about that on the show after they got Beal of trade Ayton for depth. And they did. I like Grayson Allen. I think he's a good player. I know he's very annoying to play against. I know a lot of other fan bases don't like him, but I would have Grayson Allen on my team as a 6-man. Yeah, Josh Okogie probably does start. You're right.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chet. Keon Johnson, I think, is going to give them quality minutes as well. You don't
know who that is?
Yes, I do. I'll play NBA 2K. I know who all these players are. Bo, the GOAT. They got Bo. They got Bo.
I like
Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon's
Eric Gordon. They have good. They do have good depth. I like what they did.
Nasir Little in this trade. I think that
I like Nasir Little.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Nasir Little.
I do like him. I traded for him in 2K. He's very
their
good.
roster is just a lot better than it was last week.
It is. I like their roster better. They didn't win the Damian Lillard trade though. The team that got Damian Lillard won the Damian Lillard trade.
They didn't have to give up much besides a player that they've been shopping around for 2 years. They didn't have to give up much here. And they got their team a lot better than it was last week.
I like what they did. I like Phoenix. Phoenix is honestly, I got them second in the West behind the defending champions. And I'm down on the Nuggets compared to last year. They lost.
You're walling. They are third. Lakers still had the best. Lakers still had the best offseason. They have a better roster than.
Well, just because LeBron James and Roy Hachimura spent every day together and having mimosas and eating eggs and bacon every morning, and whatever they had for eating steak dinners, Taco Tuesday at LeBron's, just because that, no.
You're so disrespectful.
I picked the Lakers. You saw it, SP3. I proved
what
it
we
on
did
air.
This off season, and now you're just going back on it. You're saying Phoenix is better than us
because Phoenix made moves afterwards that put them in a better position.
No, they're not. You have LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves. You got Christian Wood, Gabe Vincent, D'Angelo Russell, Cam Reddish, Taurean Prince. What are we talking about here? We got a much better roster.
Christian Wood plays about as much defense as Nurkic.
Jackson Hayes.
They got guys. They got guys just like the Suns have guys. These are guys that their names because you've heard of them, but there's a reason they're on their 5th team at this point. And I like these guys. I like the Lakers. I like what they did. But let's be honest about a lot of these depth guys on teams. They are on their 5th team in 5 years for a reason. If they were rotational, strong NBA players, they wouldn't be passed around the league like this. They're getting passed around the league like a porn hub over here, okay? Like, that's how they're bouncing around.
I just want to let everybody know that I am not going to abandon my prediction like Jeremy abandoned his. And
I haven't made a prediction.
I am staking with the Oklahoma City Thunder to make the playoffs.
I haven't made a prediction.
I am loyal to what I say. I don't go back on what I say just because a trade happened. A trade you don't even say they were the winners of.
They weren't.
But yet they're
well.
now better. They're now better than the Los Angeles Lakers. This is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
They didn't win the trade, but
they have no defense. I agree, Louis. The Lakers defense is championship quality. It's ridiculous.
Good on them. They have a good team. I like what the Lakers did in the offseason. I picked them.
Let me know if
I bet on them. I didn't
some defense. Let me know if Bradley Beal makes some play some defense this year.
Now you're down on like Nurkic and all this stuff because I put them above.
I'm not down on Nurkic.
I worry about the Suns defense. I completely worry about the Suns defense.
I do too. That's why they're not better.
But I like the Suns over the Lakers. I like the Suns over the Lakers.
It's for nothing.
Devin Booker is the best player on either roster.
No, he's not. Anthony Davis is.
Anthony Davis can't stay on the court for more than 2 minutes.
His goal is to play all 82 games this season. We cannot knock people for having goals.
My goal is to win the lottery.
That's nice. You aren't an NBA champion, so I don't care.
What does that have to do with winning the lottery?
I don't care about your goals unless you win an NBA championship for the Los Angeles Lakers. Anthony Davis did. I care about his goals. I don't care if you win the lottery. I care if Anthony Davis plays 82 games.
So you are putting the goals of somebody who you've never met, who doesn't exist, over the goals of who doesn't know you exist.
He does know I exist.
If you go up to Anthony Davis and say, "Hey, do you remember SP3?" What's he gonna say?
He's gonna say it was that loud guy that was at Kyrie's party.
He's gonna absolutely not say any of that. You're gonna put his goals over the goals of a friend, someone you see weekly, someone who you were at their wedding. That's how it's gonna be. SP3.
I was at Anthony Davis' birthday party.
He doesn't know you exist, SP3.
He does. I'm telling you. You're
still gonna put his goals over mine.
Ask him. Unless we get information and confirmation that Anthony Davis does not know who I am, I'm sticking by what I said.
It's very hurtful. Hope you know that. It's very hurtful.
You know I love you, Jeremy.
No, you don't care about my goals. You don't care about my dreams.
No, I specifically said I don't care if you win the lottery. I care if Anthony Davis.
No, you said you didn't care about my goals. Run the tape back, everybody. Run the tape back. You don't care about my goals because I didn't win a title for the Los Angeles Lakers. You do not care about my goals.
Yes.
Run it back.
Not as much as Anthony Davis.
No, don't change it now. Don't change it now.
Not as much as Anthony Davis.
You don't. I don't care about your goals either.
I actually extra don't care about your goals because you canceled Winning Time and Heels. You canceled two of my favorite shows. Yes, you did. You didn't watch it. You didn't watch it after I suggested it many times. My recommendations need to be taken seriously, or bad things happen, as you see.
That's not on me.
Yeah, that's on you. It's all on you. I've said it on multiple platforms.
Good luck to Anthony Davis to maybe play in 2 games this season.
So mean. Do I ever say anything like that about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? No.
You can't say anything about him. He's so pretty. He's so stylish.
That's Josh
Josh
Giddey.
Giddey's also a beautiful man.
Josh
Beautiful
Giddey is
man,
pretty.
Josh Giddey.
Josh Giddey is pretty. Not Shea.
Shea is too. Multiple players on the team can be pretty.
No.
SP3?
No, there can only be one pretty player.
Oh.
Yeah.
This
That's why
is the difference.
Share is that for this show.
Oh, that's 100% true. That's 100% true. You can't hate on OKC. We got no expectations. Nothing. We're good.
Yes, you do. You have the expectation of making the playoffs.
Your expectation.
That's me. Yes, I'm giving you early season prediction. We're just a few weeks away from season predictions, and I'm giving you an early one that the Oklahoma City Thunder will make the playoffs. And you should listen to me because I was the guy that predicted the Oklahoma City Thunder making the play-in last year.
All right, I got a question for you. If you are the Bucks and you knew that the Lillard trade would result in Jrue going to Boston, do you still make the deal?
That's a good question. Yes. You still make the trade because having Damian Lillard on the same team as Giannis Antetokounmpo is just like so rare of a thing. So it's such a thing that people didn't think was possible, that you had to get it done. And regardless of the consequence, regardless of where Jrue Holiday was going to go, this is the worst possible place Jrue Holiday could have went for Milwaukee and their chances of winning the East and winning the NBA championship. But Damian Lillard is going to help Giannis Antetokounmpo so much, and this is the type of move that Giannis was basically hinting at wanting the Bucks to make by saying that he wasn't going to re-sign and re-up with the club. So they had to make a move that significantly improved their chances of winning the championship this upcoming season. Giannis is greatness, so he's expecting greatness from the Bucks, so they had to make this type of move. So I think that yes, you still make the move even if you know Holiday is going to Boston.
I'm with you, and my reasoning is similar to yours. My biggest reasoning is like, if you're Milwaukee and you look at the hierarchy in the East, you are already right there with Boston. You and Boston were already on pretty equal footing. Yeah. And before this trade, you could say Miami was on that equal footing as well because they just beat you in the playoffs. I know Miami lost some depth pieces, but overall they were right there with you. Philadelphia, I don't know, their situation needs to get sorted out and everything, but on paper, they are still a good team. Granted, what they look like on paper now is not what they're going to look like in, who knows, a month from now at this point. But they're kind of right there. Cleveland, I'm high on Cleveland. Well, when we do our season preview, I'll explain why I'm very high on Cleveland.
I was high on them last year. They disappointed me against.
They did in the playoffs. They had a good regular season. They were disappointing in the playoffs. But you were right there with Boston anyway, and then other teams were closer with you. After this trade, you're still right there with Boston. Yeah, you didn't separate yourself from Boston, but you've really separated yourself from these other teams. Now, it's just you in Boston. You're not worried about Miami. You're not worried about Cleveland. You're not worried about Philadelphia. It's just you in Boston. So, yeah, I would have made that trade, even knowing Holiday's going to the Celtics. Louis says, buying Orlando for a top four? I'll
give them a play-in, but top four, I don't know about.
Hey, look, I respect.
It really depends on this Harden trade. This Harden trade is going to change everything below Boston and Milwaukee.
But how does that change too much for like a team like Orlando as a top four? Because look, the Knicks, I know you're going to bury the Knicks. The Knicks were good.
No, I think the Knicks are going to be top 6 in the East.
Okay, so the Knicks are there. Again, I really like Cleveland. It changes the Sixers' perspective because they go from 3 potentially out of the top 4.
Exactly.
Orlando jumps all the way up there. Orlando's got to jump a lot of teams to get top 4.
No, I don't agree with Louis. I'm not saying I agree with Louis. I'm just saying that a lot of things will change in the East after this Harden trade. That there might be teams that move their way up. Your Cleveland's, your Miami's whole club could look a lot better in comparison to Philly after this trade, depending on what they have to do and if they're forced to kind of make a deal because he doesn't show up to training camp. So I don't think he's going to show up. That's for sure.
He's
By the
already
way,
not showing. He didn't show up to media day. I don't think he's showing up anywhere. They are at the point where they got to make some type of deal right now, or you just risk blowing like regular season games, putting more on Embiid because now Embiid's really got to carry things. At least if you make a trade, you get somebody in there to take some type of pressure on him. I get it, Louis. I like Bancaro and Wagner, especially Bancaro. The way he was playing in the World Championships this past, like they were using him as a 5 as
yeah.
well. You got to jump a lot of teams. That's the thing when it comes to standings. Is like not only like do you have to improve, but then you got to bank on other teams being worse. And I don't know how many teams are gonna fall off to that level. Charlotte's still
Yeah.
a team I got no use for. I don't think.
Oh
It's
no,
very
Charlotte's
good.
done. I think there is like a lot more parity outside of Boston and Milwaukee in the East, but it feels like with the West, despite the Denver Nuggets winning the championship, it feels like a closer race there than it is in the West. It feels like more teams are closer to catching up to the Denver Nuggets than any other teams outside of Boston and Milwaukee are close to catching them right now after
Well,
this trade.
everyone thought the West was wide open last year, and then Denver steamrolled everybody in the playoffs. So
Well, they steamroll everybody because they got healthy and stuff. So I'm not saying that they're not gonna steamroll and do the same thing, but more people are gunning for you. You're not gonna catch people. You're not gonna
they don't need to
surprise
catch
people.
anybody. They're in first. Who are they trying to
And
catch?
the season didn't start yet. They're not in first yet.
They're the champions. They're in first.
No. Yeah, they're the champions for the next 6 months. That's all.
Yeah, they're the champs. They don't need to catch anyone. Everyone's trying to catch them.
That's what I said. That's what I'm saying. Everybody's gunning for you now.
Yes. But you said they're not gonna catch anybody. They're not trying to catch anybody.
They caught people. They were caught people by surprise. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, that's
They
their own
caught
dumb
people by
fault.
surprise.
They were the best team in the league last year. Who are they catching by surprise? Oh,
They
we're
you
caught off
just
guard.
you literally just said no one thought they were gonna be the team
I
the
didn't.
number one team. Exactly.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you
I
did.
said who thought they were going to be caught off guard by the top team in the league? Who thought that? If
No,
they went into
you
those games
literally
thinking that,
you
they're
literally
stupid.
said you thought that everyone thought that the West was wide open last year. That means that Denver caught people by surprise.
That means they caught fans, stupid fans.
Okay, Jeremy.
Not me, who predicted them to win the title.
Okay.
They were the 1 seed. Nobody caught them off guard. They were the 1 seed.
They were
And they steamrolled.
everybody thought they were going to be the 1 seed at the beginning of the season.
What's that?
Everybody thought they were going to be the 1 seed at the beginning of the season?
I did.
You thought they were going to win the West.
I thought they were going to win the title. Get it right. The title.
Yeah.
Not just the West. The title. And I was right.
And you was right. Congrats. Yeah. Congrats. You, one person. So it caught 99.9% of people and 0.1% you. It didn't caught by surprise.
Okay. Everyone should listen to me.
So I was right to begin with. They caught people by surprise. What the hell were you arguing with me for?
They caught stupid people by surprise.
Oh, God, Jeremy.
Trey says Milwaukee, Boston, Cleveland, Philly. Philly's trading Harden. Let's be honest about this. They have to. This is a fractured relationship at this point. I might be part of the 99% stupid people here in a week when Harden shows up and plays basketball. Knicks, Miami, Atlanta, maybe Orlando. Atlanta, I want to like them. John Collins trade as well. I was high on John Collins and now he's gone. It didn't work fully with Murray and Trey last year. I don't know. Quinn Snyder's got to install like a whole new system. I mean, he came in at the end of last year and didn't like improve things to the point I think people thought, but now he's had an off season to work with everything. I want Atlanta to be well. I don't know.
I'm
Miami,
not, I'm
I
not too
like.
confident.
Miami caught people by surprise. They were an 8th seed. They caught people by surprise.
In the playoffs, yes. In the
Yeah.
playoffs.
Jimmy Butler's all emo. By the way, bless this man for his
We gotta
last year
look
with the
into the
dreads.
tampering. We gotta look into the tampering.
He was so salty. So salty. It was hilarious. Hilarious that he got on video and was like tampering. So funny.
He thought he was gonna. He was like, "Yo, we about to win the East." Him and Dame was probably having like weekly conversations about it. Like, "Yo, what we gonna do when you get to Miami? Yo, I gotta show you the record label. You can go record that." He was like making plans, getting them apartment listings and stuff. All over.
By the way, I don't blame Miami fans for being salty because all you
No.
heard for 2 months was Dame is coming. All of this.
You know how we felt after Chris Paul in 2011. That's even worse. That's even a worse crime.
Yeah, that's worse because that trade was at least
war
official.
crime. Yeah, that was a war crime that I literally. I don't know. I think I've said this story before, but I literally went to Barack Obama and asked him about it.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yes. So
You had said that.
It's a war crime.
All we heard for 2 months was he's going to Miami. I think Miami and really Dame's agent overplayed things. Don't come out and be like he's not going to report to any other team and all of this stuff. Just move in silence. That's the best way to handle these things. Is you need to calm down. You're being too loud, Miami. That's and Dame's agent. That's what happens here.
Yeah.
Like
When
they
keeping
should
it
have just
real goes wrong.
Yeah, they were too loud with like this is the demand. And then he got sent to Milwaukee. Milwaukee stepped up. And he's not going to be upset about going to Milwaukee. He's playing with Giannis. Like, honestly, take away the living situation because I'm sure Miami's much better to live in than Milwaukee. Basketball situation, couldn't really send him to a better place than playing next to, if not the best player in the league, the second best player in the league, depending on how you feel Jokic-wise. You can't really send him to a better place. What's that?
The best player in the league.
Giannis? That's fine.
Nah. It's Jokic. It's Jokic, second best player in the league for now. It's whoever is the champion. That's what it all comes down to.
Oh, that's how it works. What about the MVP? How's he doing?
Oh, he's number 3. He's number 3.
Is he?
Hey, it's the Steve Nash rule. Winning MVP don't mean you a top 2 player in the league. Steve Nash rule. Dirk Nowitzki
Nash
rule.
was the best player in the league.
No, he was not.
Yeah,
he was not the best player in the league. He wasn't even number 2, ladies and gentlemen. The 2 times he won MVP, I guarantee you, if you took a poll of 1 million NBA fans in 2005,
we've established that all these NBA fans are stupid. You've already established that 99% of the fan base is dumb, and I am the 0.1% that is smart.
Because you got 1 season right. Because you got 1 season right.
Steve Nash was the best player in the league. I'm completely biased against Steve Nash.
I won a trophy in AAU. Does that make me the best player of AAU?
Yeah. Was it an MVP trophy or just
it was a participation trophy. Just because you win an award, a trophy, don't mean you the best player.
It's literally an MVP trophy. Like, it's not like, hey, thanks for participating in the NBA.
They literally gave the award to a guy because he lost twice in a row this year. James Harden won it once because he lost twice in a row as well.
Yeah, I agree. Joel Embiid being the MVP does not make him the best player. Steve Nash.
But Steve Nash, too. Nash, too. Kobe Bryant was better than Steve Nash. See, Kobe Bryant took Smush Parker, Chris Mims, and Kwame Brown to the NBA playoffs. That's an MVP.
Why are we blaming Steve Nash for the faultings of the Lakers front office?
No, we're blaming Steve Nash for the NBA whitewashing and denying Kobe Bryant MVP awards.
Steve Nash didn't have any. He wasn't a voter. He didn't vote.
Yeah, but 15 points. hell someone win the MVP averaging 15 points per
You
game?
realize points aren't the only thing that matters. You realize like setting up people for points is also helpful, right?
10 assists. Great job.
Yeah.
He averaged a double-double.
That means
there was
that's 20
multiple
points.
people that averaged a double-double with better numbers than that.
That's at least 20 points, though. 10 assists. 10 assists means you're helping your team get at least 20 points on that. So if you want to talk about points, he averaged 33 points. How about that?
Kobe Bryant averaging 35 with 6 assists.
All right, well, Steve Nash was also 35 technically because you said 15 points and then 10 assists. That's 35. That's 35. And you said Kobe was 35 with however many points and 6 assists. So we're equal.
No, it's
now
not.
Factor in.
No. Don't pull that double standard on me, sir. Don't count.
What?
Don't count the assists as points for Steve Nash and not for Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant. He's obviously averaging more points then.
How many points did Kobe average that year?
35 points per game.
He averaged 35 points that season?
In 2006, yeah.
I don't feel like you're being truthful.
No, it's one of the highest points per game that we have ever seen for somebody ever in a regular season.
Insane.
He's like, he really looked it up. Like, he didn't want to believe me. I'm not joking. This was when like 2006. These years was when I had like the encyclopedia brain that I have nowadays for wrestling. I had it back then for basketball, so I remember how much Kobe. I think it's 35.4. Is it? Am I right?
Yes, you're correct.
Like I remember it like it was yesterday.
Okay, hold on. 2005, 2006. Nash was at 18 points, by the way.
Congratulations.
18 points, 10 assists, 10.5 assists.
That half assist. Gonna leave off that half.
You're not factoring the defensive stuff.
Wasn't Kobe Bryant all defense that season too? That was a great comeback. I gotta get it. You're not factoring in the intangibles, sir. The true shooting.
Yeah, the true shooting numbers.
PPR. Like,
what were the true shooting numbers? They gotta be.
I
don't think Steve Nash should have won back-to-back MVPs, by the way. That is like legitimately my favorite player outside of like any Thunder player and Michael Jordan. I love Steve Nash to death. Him winning 2 MVPs is a little
much. Yeah. Especially when you look and when you really examine the year that Kobe Bryant had. Yeah. This was back when it was really like you had to be a top 4 seed to get the MVP. Like if Kobe Bryant has that same season like in 2017, I'm just picking that number at random. He probably would win MVP because that season a 6 seed won MVP.
All right, let me look at some advanced stats to try to make my Steve Nash case here.
He's now examining the
honestly, the usage. Let me throw some usage numbers at you. SP3. Steve Nash was putting up these numbers on 23.3% usage. Kobe needed to get these numbers on 38.7%. He needed the ball all of this time to get all of these numbers. Steve Nash did all this without the ball in his hands. You give Steve Nash 38.7% usage, he would have averaged 30 and 20, most likely.
Okay. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, Kobe Bryant was playing with Smush Parker, Chris Smith, and Kwame Brown.
Don't blame Steve Nash for the failings of the Lakers front office.
Let me finish my thought here. Steve Nash was playing with Amari Stoudemire, Sean Marion. Like, what are we talking about here? He played with all-stars.
Don't blame Steve Nash for the failings of the Lakers front office. That is not his fault, okay? It's not his fault. The true shooting percentages, by the way, Kobe Bryant 55, Steve Nash 63. Much better true shooting from Steve Nash.
I expected that. Kobe chucking up like
Kobe,
30
yeah, Kobe's
shots
just
a game.
jacking up shots. Did you imagine how many points Steve Nash would have scored if he was given the green light like Kobe? That was honestly a fail.
Kobe Bryant played with Slava Medvedenko.
We're not going to disrespect Slava Medvedenko on this show.
One of the greatest names in NBA history.
We will never disrespect Slava Medvedenko.
Sasha Vujacic. He played with Sasha Vujacic.
Yes, Morrison. I want Slava Medvedenko taking those shots. Who knows what he would have become if Kobe didn't hog the ball?
Mark Madsen.
Yeah. Who knows what these players would have become? But no, Kobe had to take all the shots. I'm sorry, Steve Nash made all these guys better. What'd Sean Marion do without Steve Nash? What Amari Stoudemire do in New York without Steve Nash?
He played well until they got Carmelo. He was looking like MVP until they got Carmelo.
What is well?
He was a top 2 MVP. It was between him and Derrick Rose that season.
What is well?
I just told you what well is. He was the top 2 MVP candidate.
No,
Damian George, Rick Fox.
Who knows what these guys could have become if Kobe did not completely ruin them?
Who knows what Robert Horry would have done if Kobe Bryant would have made that shot in Game 4 against the Sacramento Kings in 2002?
What are we talking about Robert Horry for?
Robert Horry.
Robert Horry of all time.
Yeah. Greatest clutch shooter of all time. Yeah. Raymond Sessions, Luke Walton. These are the greats that Kobe Bryant was playing with.
They could have been greats if it wasn't for Kobe taking all these shots. All these young players that Kobe completely ruined because he wouldn't give up the ball enough. Kobe said, I got to take all of these shots.
I don't believe you. Jordan Farmer. Shannon
Great
Brown.
Players.
Yo, I know we don't talk about it here, but that dude from NXT Out the Mud, Lucian Price, he looks like Shannon Brown, like in the face. Dead ass. Like look at him in the face and have a picture in Shannon Brown on your phone when he's on the TV. I swear he looks like Shannon Brown.
All of these guys would have been greats if it wasn't for Kobe.
Hey, I remember Shannon Brown. I remember all those dunks.
Where does James Harden go? Clippers thing? Is that what we're sticking with?
It seems like they're gonna have no other choice but the Clippers, but I would not be surprised if we had another Damian Lillard situation and another team swooped in.
So I was talking about this with my buddy Sammer of what other teams make sense for James Harden and make sense as far as like, I know he can go to a team and add something, but who's going to be willing to give up the pieces for him? Do the Knicks give up RJ Barrett? Are they willing to do that? Is that even a good trade for the Knicks? Honestly, like, does Miami basically offer slightly less than the Dame package for him? I'm sure they'd like to just keep Hero and just give them basically Kyle Lowry and picks maybe for Harden, but are they willing to offer either keep Hero or keep Jovic because everybody's high on him? Are they willing to make that offer for James Harden? Does Miami want him? Is there another team out there that is willing to make some type of offer for James Harden? And if it is, like, what are they willing to offer? Because the Clippers offer right now sucks. It's a terrible offer. It's been a terrible offer.
And that's why he's still a 76er right now.
Yeah.
I see teams like the Pelicans. The Pelicans are in an interesting scenario right now where they have two kind of young players that can be stars, but both of them are kind of been unreliable the last couple of seasons. More, of course, Zion than Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram was more injured, last season and in the playoffs last season, the season before that. But yeah, you can make a choice if you want to put one of them on the market. That's a little
See,
bit more appetizing, but I would say, you want to keep those guys. CJ McCollum and draft
McCollum.
equity might be
Yeah.
something that the Sixers might look at and look a little bit more favorable at than what the Clippers are offering, because like you said, that Clippers trade is trash. That is not going to be the trade that James Harden goes to the Clippers for.
That was a team we both brought up, was the Pelicans. And if you can do it with giving up McCollum, then I think you gotta strongly consider that if you're New Orleans. There could be a let's be honest about where James Harden is. One, in pecking order, two, in just overall value. And I don't mean on the basketball court, because on the basketball court, he's a great player.
Yeah.
The playoff struggles and failings are very real. His demeanor is very real. I mean, I talk about role players and stuff. There's a reason they're on their fifth team in 5 years. There's a reason James Harden is about to be on his third, fourth team in 4 years. Like, the man's he's burning bridges everywhere he goes with this stuff. How's he going to feel in New Orleans, which is not a super competitive team? I mean, they made the play in last year, lost to OKC. Injuries hurt them. No doubt about that. But who's to say Zion ain't proved he can be healthy at all throughout his career? So who's to say he's not just going to get hurt? Again, is James Harden willing to be like, yeah, I want to go play with Zion, who can't really stay healthy. I want to play with Ingram, who I like Brandon Ingram, but there's
Me
question
too.
marks around him. Like, does he want to go to a middle Western Conference team? Right now, the Clippers are theoretically, technically a middle Western Conference team, but they have the pieces to be a competitive Western
Yeah,
Conference team.
they get James Harden, and then they're right into the. I would put them at fourth. Like I said, I right now I have it Denver, Los Angeles,
I don't put them over
Phoenix.
Golden State.
I'm sorry, I don't like that Chris Paul deal.
I see.
I think if they got James Harden, I would say the Clippers would be fourth, and then Warriors fifth.
I don't know if I put them over Golden State. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I put them over Sacramento.
Sacramento,
See,
I got Sacramento six behind Golden State.
people are gonna
Right.
look at
Well, right
Sacramento.
now I have Golden State fourth, and then the Clippers I would have slightly ahead of them right now.
People are down on Memphis as well. Memphis has been the 2 seed the past couple of seasons, and
But
everybody's down.
you don't have Ja Morant for half of the season.
They played great without Ja last year, and now
Yeah,
they got Marcus Smart, who's, I mean, better
that's
than
true.
Dylan Brooks. So, no, I think they're. I'm not super high on Memphis either, by the way, because their playoff failings are what they are. But let's be honest about their regular season success these past few seasons. They are clearly a very good regular season team. Playoffs, it's a conversation for when the playoffs come up, because the matchups are going to dictate a lot of things. But regular season, they've proven they can have regular season success. I like Sacramento because even though they didn't make any type of big move, they are they are a young team. They're going to grow after last season, and I think they're going to have another strong regular season. And I think they're going to learn from their playoff failures against the Warriors last year. I do like the Warriors. I do like the Chris Paul trade. I'm actually much higher on that than SP3 is, and a lot of people seem to be. So I do like them. The Clippers, like, on paper, it should all work. But man, I don't know how that team gels, especially if they get James Harden. And that's a team that definitely can't stay healthy.
No, they
I
can't.
like I love Russ. I don't know fully. He played great in the playoffs, but he played great in the playoffs because there was no Paul George and then no Kawhi Leonard. Like, how's he gonna really integrate things with all of that? Clippers are just such a weird team. Such a weird team to me. I cannot figure out the Clippers at all. They're obviously very good. They get James Harden, they'll be even better theoretically. I think New Orleans is the team that might want to step up and make that trade, though. Otherwise, I don't see a whole lot of teams like willing to come at an offer willing to come with an offer for James Harden. Like, one, I don't know if he's going to be happy there. And it's a big difference, by the way, with Lillard and Harden, and that Lillard still had 4 years left on his deal. You had 4 years to be like, look, you ain't sitting out 4 years, buddy. Like, I'm sorry. Harden's got 1 year on his deal. He's only got one. And it's a bigger risk to take to James Harden. And again, Harden burned bridges these past 3-4 years. Lillard never burned any type of bridges in Portland. Everyone praised Lillard for being so loyal and everything. So, all right, if you are the Lakers, you won't do this. You're the Lakers. You give up anybody not named Davis, Reeves, and LeBron. You doing this deal?
Most of the people we just re-signed, so we can't even make the deal until December.
Okay, let's throw out the
yeah.
actual restrictions here. I'm asking from a hypothetical. It's a
No,
hypothetical,
no,
SP3.
no.
You
We got
wouldn't
a good roster.
trade.
We got a great roster.
You wouldn't trade D'Angelo Russell and Hachimura for James Harden.
No, I was actually more willing to do Russell and I don't know about Hashimura. Russell and Christie for Jrue Holiday. I was willing if that's what they were gonna.
Yeah, Jrue Holiday is better than James Harden, and
Yeah,
for this thought experiment, you'd rather him on that Lakers team than James Harden.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like that's what we need, because that's kind of like the only. Reeves is a really good defensive player, but if we had Reeves and Holiday in our backcourt, man, we would have the best defensive team in the league, 100%.
I don't know about that.
But Harden, nah, I'm good. We don't need any more scoring. We got a good enough scoring on our team.
I'm with you. I wouldn't make that deal either if I was the Lakers. So I want your thoughts on it as a Lakers fan, the Lakers apologist.
I'm not a Lakers apologist. I am a Lakers pastor, a Laker fan, a Laker leader.
Money Mark says Steph without the ball is dangerous. See, I think this is what people are missing, Money Mark. Like, Jordan Poole ain't passing the ball to nobody. Jordan Poole is trying to impress whoever got Ubered there in the front row and going home on tender with him. Chris Paul don't care about that. Chris Paul's trying to win basketball games. I like Chris Paul and the Warriors, man.
Hey, it's all fine and dandy. It's going to look good in the early portion of the season. And then he's going to be
Chris
gone
Paul's probably
by
going to
December.
get hurt. All these guys are going to get
gone.
hurt.
He's going to be gone by December, y'all. So
all these dudes are old, man. That's why
and decrepit.
That's why I like the younger teams like Sacramento, like a Cleveland. These guys are younger. These teams are younger. I like those teams who might be able to step up this season, because these old guys, they can't stay healthy. They can't stay healthy.
So who's your favorite to win MVP?
MVP? Luka.
Again? You're gonna do that again? We both made that mistake last year.
He's gonna win it at some point. Like, Jokic has got 2, so they're gonna toss him out just because he's got 2. You know how that works. That's why he didn't win it last year.
That's why I'm actually going with Jokic.
Okay.
Because all they really did that for is so he didn't get 3 straight. But he's due.
I mean, I agree.
He's now due now because he should have won last year. So now that makes him the favorite to win this year. That's how it works. That's always how it works. That's why Joel Embiid had been my favorite the year before last year. I went with Luka because I was like, at this point, they ain't gonna give one to Joel Embiid. And then that was the year they gave it to Joel Embiid. I won't make that mistake twice. They're gonna give it to Jokic now. Whoever should win it this year, that Jokic wins it, they'll win it the year after that.
Jokic probably should win it, honestly. I just think now with with a championship, 2 MVPs and everything, they're just going to be like, yeah, we know Jokic is really good, because now they're going to recognize that the Nuggets team is really good as well. So like, well, they're the defending champions, so of course they have a good team. It's not just Jokic. It's not just Jokic out there. Like, the team is good. So that's why I don't know that's why I think Jokic might take a hit this year. Embiid's not going to win it.
I think if Dame leads the Bucks in scoring, he could be in the mix.
I think he might lead the Bucks in scoring. I don't know if he'll be because he's playing with Giannis. I
still think that he might get some votes. He's not going to win it, but he'll get some votes.
I mean, Giannis will get votes too. I think it's just.
I think the favorites right now should probably be Jokic because he didn't win it last year. Tatum, even though their team is really good, if their team is number 1 and he's putting up the numbers he's been doing, they might be like, okay, this is gonna be your one. Like they did, like it was kind of like when Kobe won it in 2008. He should have won it twice before that, as we've established during this episode. But it was kind of like,
Defense wasn't good as Steve
you guys are
Nash's.
number one. You guys do have a great team, but you are the centerpiece behind that. Let's give you this one. I feel like Tatum might be in that same position this year.
Booker is a good shout. What about Anthony Davis? Top 5?
Top 5 MVP. It's going to be right one of these days, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, it might not be.
No, I actually talked myself into now I'm actually not going to go with Jokic. I'm actually going to go with Tatum. I think I've talked myself into like why Tatum is probably going to be the favorite to win. So I'm going to go Tatum, Jokic, Luka, AD, and
Booker?
Booker. Yeah, Booker has KD. No, it's not going to win it. He's not going to win it. He's not going to win it. He's not gonna win it. They're automatically. This is like
Anthony Davis is LeBron James.
LeBron James said it's his team now. He's deferring. Ladies and
Kevin
gentlemen.
Durant says it's Booker's team.
That don't matter. Kevin Durant.
Why? What's the difference?
It's Kevin Durant's team. This is Kevin Durant's team.
Why isn't it LeBron's team?
Because it's Anthony Davis' team now. Because he's going to play 82 games.
You know LeBron lies a lot, right?
Well, the difference is Anthony Davis has LeBron James, Devin Booker has Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal. What are we talking about?
One, Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant got to stay healthy for long enough to make a difference.
That's the same thing with Booker.
Booker's typically pretty healthy, I feel.
He gets hurt late in the season.
Does he?
Yeah. He deals with injury. He plays through it, but he deals with injuries.
Okay, but he plays through it as long as he plays.
Booker ain't winning. I'm telling you right now.
Devin Booker was hurt a lot last year. I didn't realize that.
53
games.
I told you that.
He missed so many games last year.
Why you always look up stuff? I'm telling you the truth.
My memory sucks, dude. My memory is awful.
I speak the truth here, ladies and gentlemen.
My memory is terrible. Why did Booker miss so many games last year? How did that happen?
Everybody on this damn freaking team gets hurt. Chris Paul got hurt, and Aiden got hurt.
It says, can we start the Luka slander about him making his teammates better and being a defensive liability? I don't want to say it's slander, but I've been on Luka's playing way too much like Harden, and this is not a reliable way to win games that you need to win. And it's not quite as bad as Harden. Them beating the Suns and then making the conference finals. Granted, they got destroyed by the Warriors, but like that bought Luka a lot of goodwill. But last season, kind of indictment on Luka. They should have been better last season. They should have been better.
Should have made the play in.
Should have made the play in. 100% should have made the play in. There's expectations on them this season because everyone's expecting more out of Luka. Kyrie's like, oh, now you've been here a year. The players around them, I don't fully love their team, but they did get better with the depth moves that they made. Yeah, I don't know. I've said it with Luka though. His play style, it's very much James Harden play style, and the James Harden play style gets you as far as it's going to get you. It gets you to the conference finals. It got James Harden to the conference finals. Doesn't get you farther than that. And there's very real just pitfalls to it. And yeah, defensively, he's awful. He's awful defensively.
This is true. I mean, yeah, James Harden is not going to be the most reliable player, but we kind of tell the teams that are kind of going to be in the mix for this trade, which it's going to be interesting wherever he lands and how the
Mavericks should go get him. The Mavericks should go get Harden.
Trade Kyrie.
No, not for Kyrie. Trade everybody else. Trade all these other players. Play
3 guys on the court.
And then whoever else you got, who do the Mavericks have? They have Tim Hardaway Jr. They can trade him. Hold on. How's Mavericks? I do have to look this up. I don't know. I do like some of the Mavericks young players, by the way. Hardy and Green. I do like those guys. Josh Green's a guy I traded for in 2K. He's good. Oh yeah, Luka, Kyrie, trade Tim Hardaway Jr. That's their small forward. They got Grant Williams, like defensively, this team. I don't know. Dwight Powell, trade Hardaway, Dwight Powell, and one of Hardy and Green in draft compensation for James Harden, and then just play three-man rotation. Your turn, my turn, your turn.
Yeah, that worked out well for the Brooklyn Nets.
The Nets were cooking teams when everybody was healthy.
On the court together.
Yeah, they couldn't stay on the court together. They were cooking teams when everybody was healthy, though. Kyrie and Harden love each other, right? They play great together.
They're the best of friends.
Yeah.
So I see someone in the chat saying Tatum has Brown, Holiday, Porzingis. Man, I'm making a comparison to Kobe Bryant in 2008. He had Pau Gasol, Lamar Odom. He had players too, but Tatum averaged 30 points per game, 9 rebounds, 5 assists on 47% from the field. The key difference between Tatum last year and every other year he's had great numbers, and what I'm saying with this year was going to give him the MVP, is Boston has never finished first. I just looked it up. Boston's never finished first while Tatum's been on the team. If they finish first in the East, I feel like Tatum's the favorite.
Trey says Kyrie, Luka, Harden on the same team is atrocious.
That sounds like freaking an invitation for hell for Jason Kidd.
I want to see it, though. I think it'd be hilarious. I'm about the chaos, baby. I don't care what actually makes basketball sense. These ain't my teams. I don't give a shit. I ain't a Mavericks fan. I don't care what happens to them.
How the hell did Jason Kidd keep his job after last season?
Because Mark Cuban loves them. No, it's fine.
The Indowees anonymous GM said, yes, Cleveland will disappoint.
I like Cleveland this year. I'm high on Cleveland. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me.
You've been in Ohio too long, sir.
3 seed Cleveland Cavaliers. Top 3 seed.
Top 3. Okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. We shall see. I think right now they do have the 3rd best roster on the Eastern Conference.
Anything else basketball? I did not watch this week's challenge, by the way. We'll do two episodes next week. I'm going to send this link to our pal Share Delaware because we need to pretty up this show. And
yes,
we have Love is Blind to talk about as well. You got to watch Love is Blind.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do have to watch Love is Blind. I've been on the challenge and my 90-day last resort. Which Asuelo is reality TV gold. Asuela.
Who's traded first, Cat or Harden? Harden. They're gonna try to stick with Karl Anthony Towns. They're gonna try. I don't know how it's gonna work, but they're gonna attempt.
It's not gonna work, but they're gonna keep trying.
I'm gonna just tell everybody about my 2K teams right now. I traded for Anthony Edwards in 2K. I dealt. What are you shaking your head for? That's a great trade.
For who? Let me hear.
For me, because I traded draft picks. I traded Jaden McDaniels, who I signed in the offseason, who I like. He's on the Timberwolves now. I like him. And Contavious Caldwell-Pope, who I previously acquired. And then 4 first-round picks for Anthony Edwards. That's a great trade. The first-round picks, by the way, are in the game this season. This is the Bill Walton, George Gervin draft. I didn't want Walton or Gervin. I'm like, whatever. I already have a young team. I drafted Tracy McGrady last season, so I'm McGrady on this team. So my starting lineup is Shea, Giddey, Anthony Edwards, J-Dub, Jalen Williams, Chet. That's my starting 5. I got McGrady coming off the bench. I got Nasir Little coming off the bench. He's great. I got Kevon Looney coming off the bench as well. And Josh Green. That's my bench. This team's beastly. Anthony Edwards is nice in this game. I like Anthony Edwards.
Yeah. Anthony Edwards is great in the game. I'd never play with the Minnesota Timberwolves, but I do try to rebuild them sometimes when I have 2K.
When Mark says, have you seen Ultimatum Season 2? Yes. Can I recall any of it? No, but I have seen it.
You cannot.
Yeah.
The last
Had the
reality
clip.
show I saw on Netflix was that show Wrestlers.
I heard that was good.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was actually really good.
Yeah.
I was actually surprised. Al
Trey
Snow's
Jones.
like the only likable person, which says a lot.
Trey Jones says he had a Clippers team with Kawhi, PG, and Capella. In the game, the Mavericks traded for Draymond Green, which was an interesting little deal. The Warriors traded for Russ, which completely killed me. They had Chris Paul, Russ, and Steph on the same team, which rules.
Like, what? You want a 5-point guard setup? What are you doing?
It rules. This is great. Capella, the Mavericks also traded for Capella, which is a deal I think they should make in real life. Like,
yes,
if they could. I think
I've made that trade multiple times for the Mavs over the last like 3 or 4 2K games.
I said they should have gone after Gobert a few years ago. Like, I'm not even a big Gobert fan, but I just think him as a pick and roll lob threat would be great for Luka. Now his stock is even lower than it was.
The only wing that I liked to put it on the Mavericks with Luka was DeMar DeRozan.
Okay. I said they should have gone after DeRozan last year too. I just wanted Luka to get so. Then they ended up with Kyrie, which, you know, what can you do? I know you're a big Kyrie's family. Sorry.
Yes, he's my fan. But I still think he should have got traded to the Lakers. But hey, we're better off. We're better.
Let's say if you traded for Kyrie,
we would never have the roster that we have today. So
yeah, you wouldn't have paid for Austin Reeves. That would have been out the window. He would have been gone. Yeah, they would have killed their depth. Now that's a strength of the team. So
exactly.
Then the Hawks trade him to Utah. I like John Collins. I'm kind of high on Utah, honestly. Like Utah.
You think Utah's going to be in the play-in?
They were almost there last year before they realized they needed a tank.
Yeah, before they decided to tank, they were in it.
The West is crazy. A lot's just going to come down to health, honestly. Some of these teams are not going to be healthy, and it's going to show, and they're going to run out of steam throughout the regular season. Yeah. Cher Delaware is here. Hello, Cher Delaware. All right, let's talk about Love is Blind. I've not watched the challenge this week because
dare you.
Are you fully caught up?
Yes.
Okay.
I hate everyone on this show.
Yeah.
These are terrible people. So I was actually thinking about it. We've got 8 episodes out now. 8? Yeah.
7. This last batch was only 3. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So 7 episodes out now. This is the first time that they've only had 3 couples in the engagement thing afterwards.
Yeah. Yes.
So there are more couples than that, but I guess the other ones weren't annoying enough that they didn't send them there. But I kind of thought that the big country guy that was like, do you like fishing, to every single person that like that was the first question. They're like, oh, what's your name? And he's like, do you like fishing? Like, buddy, you can have your own hobbies. But I kind of thought he would be there because they gave him so much camera time at the beginning, and I really was like, oh, he's gonna end up there. No, instead we get Uchi and Lydia have like the biggest storyline, and they're not there.
Yeah.
Like, so for anyone that hasn't watched Love is Blind before, you don't see the people. Like, you're literally sitting in a room for hours talking to people through a freaking wall, like playing games and eating snacks. And why everybody always wants to be on the floor, I don't understand. I am staying on the couch. Why are you sitting in the floor? Like, they clearly don't have children.
The wife said this as well. It's like, why are they getting so dressed up? You can't see it. I'd be there in just like a t-shirt and sweatpants.
Yeah.
Like, they can't see.
Like, and when they're like, what are you wearing? We've been doing this for years. Lie. Oh, I just came in here in lingerie and heels. Like, come on. Why are you dressed up? Well, and like Johnny, every time she'd go in, she'd immediately take her shoes off. I'm like, why are you wearing these big, tall wedges? And you're going to take them off as soon as you get in there every time. But the whole point of the show, they do it in different cities. So everybody always lives in the same city. And the whole point of the show is supposed to be, that you don't know these people. And I was reading an article about it yesterday. So I have more insight on the Lydia and Uche thing now. The producers did not know that they knew each other. It was It was not a setup thing. They asked people, like past people that they've dated and stuff. And because they had already like applied to be on the show, they didn't have each other mentioned when they did it because they started dating after. And the producers found out the same time as everybody else in the pods. And the reason that they did not share it with, is it Milton?
Yeah. Milton and Aaliyah.
Who's a giant. I did not know that man was like 6'7".
That's a very tall man.
Yeah. Milton and Aaliyah is because the producers told them not to. They were going to kick them out of the experiment. So they were going to be like, this is kind of ruining the whole thing. You can't really be here if you know each other. And they were like, we're not interested in each other. We won't go on dates with each other. We won't tell anybody. And the producers were like, okay, if you don't tell anyone, you can stay. So that was the reason that they didn't share it. And they said that in the conversations that they had where they told Milton and Aaliyah about it, they did tell them that the producers told them not to share the information. But it was the most dramatic thing ever. I had a conversation with Jeremy and his wife each separately about this. It was, everybody's crying. They're all crying. And I'm like, why is everybody crying right now? Like, when I first started watching Uche tell Aaliyah about it at the end of episode 4, I believe it was, when he first started sharing it, I was like, did I miss something? Like, did he tell her that he doesn't want to be with her? He wants to be with Lydia? Like, what's going on here? Did I miss something? No. He's just telling her that he dated her for like 2 months. And girl is leaving the room. She's crying so hard. And I'm like...
Aaliyah's reaction when she started breaking down, the wife was like, what is she so upset about? Like, why is she crying so much over this? She just told you. It doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. Like,
no.
When Lydia's going off and saying all these things to Aaliyah and Aaliyah, that was much. Yes. That was a little much because Aaliyah's just like, I don't want to know any of this, because it definitely sounded like Lydia was still obsessed with this man.
Yes. So earlier in the episodes, we had seen Lydia getting in Aaliyah's ear when Uche was upset that Aaliyah had cheated on somebody like 2 years prior.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I can see being upset about that. I don't think that he was as mean as they were all acting like he was, but we also only saw part of it. So, like, okay. But she's like dying. This girl does not have the emotional intelligence to be on this show. That's just, she's not there because she's crying about everything. So she's in there sobbing because he was like, how would I trust you if you've cheated on someone? And she said she stayed with the person after she cheated on them too. And yeah, so like that was, and she never told him.
Yeah.
So that was like a whole lot of issues going on here. And Lydia is in her ear being like, he doesn't deserve you. You and I are so alike, and going on. And I'm like, this is weird. Like, I mean, this is kind of rubbing me the wrong way that she's just continuously being like, no, I think that you should just not talk to him anymore. So then when we find out that she used to date Uche and was in love with him, I'm like, oh, this makes a lot of sense now. So then Aaliyah's trying to talk to her. And she's telling Aaliyah about the last time that they slept together. And I'm like, this is not correct. This is not what anyone wants to hear. Like, it's too much. It's just too much. I mean, I live in a really small town, so like everybody dated everybody's ex-boyfriends. There's no girl code when there's only 12 boys to choose from. So like, it's just the way that it is. And pretty much the only people that are off limits is if you have a child with somebody. So that's just basically where we draw the line. And 2 of my best friends in high school, who I still have a group chat with now, they both would like date the same guys like a year apart. And it was always just a like, we're not going to share this information type of thing. And we were teenagers then. So how are these 30-year-old women? And she's like a freaking like geologist or something. It's not like she's stupid. Like, she's an intelligent person. And I'm like, oh my God. It was it was too much.
The wife points this out. Lydia is in love with everyone who says good morning to her. Uche ain't special.
Yes.
Lydia was immediately falling for Izzy, and then Izzy had to break that off, and she was like devastated. Like, it's been 2 days. Girl is fine. Is all right. But yeah, she falls very quickly, and then she fell for Milton. She probably did more with Uche, although it seemed like it was a bit with Uche. I don't know if Cher's still there, if she just turned the camera off or what.
I think she got a call.
Okay.
No, yeah. I was turning off my Wi-Fi.
But yeah, like Lydia is just in love with anyone who
anyone that shows her attention. Her. And she's what, 30? I think she said she was 30 or 31, getting ready to be 31 maybe.
Yeah, I think she's 30, yeah.
But she's definitely like, she's so desperate for somebody to want her. And that makes so much more sense now, too, when we saw how she acted with Izzy, to know that Uche was like, yeah, I didn't feel the same way. So I was like, I think we should go our separate ways. That she was already in love with him when they got together. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and what was weird when they went in the room and she was like, what's your name? And he's like, Uche. And she's like, oh, Uche. And like names off his first and last name and like his parents' names and starts naming all this stuff. And he doesn't know who she is. He's like, do I know you? And she's like, you don't recognize my voice? You don't know me? He does not remember this woman. And she's like naming off the freaking pet he had when he was 8 years old. I'm like, what's happening? Like, this is so uncomfortable. She's the villain of this season. Like, it's her, which surprised me because for a little bit I thought it was going to be the blonde chick that ended up with Izzy. What's her name?
Stacy.
Yeah. So I liked Stacy. Stacy was just kind of laid back, but they were like pitting her and Johnny against each other to go for Izzy. Izzy had all the ladies. All the ladies wanted Izzy. And Johnny broke it off with what's his face?
Chris.
The white guys look too much alike. It's a problem. She broke it off with Chris to get with Izzy because she thought Izzy wanted her, and then Izzy was like, no, I don't want you. And so he went with Stacy. So then she tries to get back together with Chris.
Yes.
Oh,
she tried to get back together with Chris, and then because Chris was being, all right, so I want your thoughts on this, because when Johnny was trying to like make her decision of Izzy and Chris, she's like, I know what my life with Chris will look like. It'll be comfortable. Like, I see everything with it. It's safe. I don't want to do safe. That's why she wanted to go with Izzy. And she kind of told Chris the same thing, but it was a little bit different of how it was framed. Mm-hmm. But then Izzy came back to Chris like, no, here's what she told me type of thing. And like, I don't think Johnny was not being truthful in what she was saying. She just framed the same comments a different way to both of them. And then Izzy took it of like, no, she was like burying you on this. But I don't think she was like burying Chris when she was making those comments. She just framed it one way so it made Izzy look better of why she didn't want to be with Chris. But then when she wanted to be with Chris because Izzy said no, she framed it to make Chris look better than Izzy. It was a lot of framing.
It was a lot of the way that she worded things. And she's an attorney. So she knows how to make words sound certain ways. It was a lot of the way that she said things, knowing who her audience was and how they were going to receive it. I didn't think that she buried him at all. I thought Izzy was shady for saying that too. Because like you already said you don't want her and you're trying to get in the middle of this too. I did think this is in a different vein, but kind of the same thing. When Uche told, was it Milton, that he was like, you don't have to get engaged because
Yeah.
he knows how Lydia is, and
Yes.
he knows that Lydia's like, let's get married yesterday. Like,
Yeah.
So I did think that that was more him like looking out for him, but Izzy, on the other hand, did not feel that way. I always hate, and I know that the producers prompt them and they're like, you know, how do you feel about so-and-so once they meet them in person, somebody that they broke up with? But Izzy being like, oh, Lydia's so hot. Lydia's what I would normally go for. Lydia, I hate when they say that. Like, you are engaged to somebody else. You could be like, oh, yeah, I think she's an attractive person. But when they're always like, that's what I normally go for, I'm like, that's just like, you're usually not what I want, but I guess you're what I got. Like, I hate that.
Yeah, it's so stupid, especially when you're out of the pods, you're already engaged to somebody. It's like, okay, just shut up. Just shut up. You don't have to say this at all. Just like, oh yeah, she's attractive and everything. Like, that's fine. You can say that. Just like, this is what I would normally go for. You are not my type at all. This is actually my type. It's like, no, just shut up, dude. It's okay. Shut up.
Yeah, sometimes you can just be quiet. And like, these people do not get that at all. Speaking of...
All right. You're going JP and Taylor. We got to talk about JP.
I'm going JP and Taylor.
Okay. These fucking people.
So Taylor is a 25 or 26-year-old kindergarten teacher. She's a pretty sweet girl, honestly. Like, she's not my favorite, but she's tolerable on there, especially compared to everybody else. And like, she's fine, okay? JP was a completely different person once he got out of the pods.
Yeah.
Completely different person. He sat in there and was so sweet to her, so nice. And she even said, like, that was part of the reason that she fell for him, was just because he listened so well and he was so nice to her. They get out. What was so funny was, as soon as, before they met, when she was like, I had a dream last night that he was going to be blonde and have really white teeth and da-da-da. I'm like, oh no, this is not what this man is going to look like.
Oh, I said this to the wife when we were watching this. Like, the talking head segments before they met were so focused on looks, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be an issue. Like, this is going to be an issue because they are talking way too much about looks before the reveal, and they're basically setting up of like, hey, looks are going to be an issue in this relationship.
So she meets him, and it's not that he doesn't have bad teeth. He just they're not perfect like what she had.
He's got like a little gap.
He's got a little bitty gap, like barely at all. Like, I have a gap in between my front teeth, and I have a freaking permanent retainer behind them to hold them together. Like, I mean, I have permanent retainers all over my mouth. Like, I mean, like, I get it. There's some things that it is what it is, you know, and like, that would be a lot of dental work to have done just to close a gap if he didn't even want to have it closed either. Yeah. She said that, and she was like, she even said, like, a gap is not that big of a deal, like, in her talking head. And she was like, you know, it's not a deal. That would be ridiculous for that to be a deal breaker for somebody and everything. And I'm like, okay. Then they go on their post-engagement trip.
Oh, this is rough.
I would have walked out on that man the second he said that to me.
Okay, let's set up before those comments and everything. They go, everybody's in Mexico, as they always do. As Cher said, there's only 3 couples because Johnny and Chris did not end up together. So they didn't go. So for the first time, only 3 couples.
We've got Lydia and Milton, and we've got Izzy and Stacy. Izzy, who also dated Lydia. Stacy really only ever focused on Izzy. Milton really only focused on Lydia.
Well, then we had Uche and Aaliyah, and Uche was ready to propose, and Aaliyah just left the show. She peaced out on the show.
We forgot
really?
about that.
Yes.
Yeah, he literally goes in there to propose to Aaliyah, and they were like, she left the experiment. Sis went home. She was out.
Yeah, she went home. And then she called on the phone. They got to talk on the phone, and Aaliyah's just like, I could not deal with Lydia, like the things she was saying and all this stuff. And Uche, who I think is a little selfish.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, like he only sees like his point of view on things. He was like, well, what about me? What about, like, I was about to propose and all this stuff. Like, he did not take her thoughts and feelings into consideration of why she left. at all. And then we'll bring this back around because they actually did meet each other.
Yes,
at, like,
I do
a
think
dinner.
that Aaliyah was being very dramatic, though. Like,
Yes,
I
yeah.
get that you're living in close quarters with these people, and like it can be stressful, but you can literally just like not talk to her.
Yes, but here's what I told the wife as well, of like, if she could not handle them like living together and like the pod situation and stuff, if they all went to Mexico together and like Lydia is
terrible.
with Uche and like we saw they blew up at the party, like that would have happened at Mexico and Aaliyah would have been there as well. So yeah, it would not have it wouldn't have worked well. I think Aaliyah was removing herself from that situation just beforehand. All right, so JP and Taylor, so they go to Mexico and everything, and they're trying. You can tell even their first meeting a little awkward. Vibes were a little off. Go to Mexico, vibes are way off. Like she's talking, he's just like listening and giving nothing.
He's
nothing.
not even like responding when she's talking. And she even says in one of her talking head things, like, she's like, I like to talk, but I can't just talk for the rest of my life and him not talk back. Like, this is not going to work.
I have to take care of a work thing real quickly. But yeah, she's trying to give everything. He's giving, it's just like, yeah. He's not even asking, like, if she's just asking like, hey, how are you? He's just like, I'm good. Didn't even like ask back, like, how are you type of thing. There's just nothing
He's
going
giving
on.
Nothing.
Yeah. And so they go on like, and she finally brings it up. She's like, hey, and they're, of course, around these other couples. Lydia and Milton are all very much in love. They're banging all the time. Stacy and Izzy are very much in love. They're banging all the time and stuff. And they're like, are you? And there's like, nope, not doing anything. And like, when they're all hanging out, they're all very lovey with each other. And these two are just not. They are just not. And so finally she brings it up. She's like, are you giving, like, you're just not giving me anything. He's like, yeah, I'm just like, I'll try to open up, little awkward, little uncomfortable and everything. Just, I don't know. I'm trying though. Like, I'm trying. You got to give me time and whatever. Like, it'll develop. She's like, oh, okay. But then she brings it up constantly. Like, they go on like this big dates, big picnic thing. And she's bringing it up then, like, how you feeling? How you feeling about things? Like, are we okay? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I'm trying. And like, so they're finally having this conversation on the bed about all this. And I'm saying, before the comments are made, I'm saying like, she's bringing it up too much. And that is making him feel weird about it because she's just not letting it play out. She's not letting it develop. And if she is basically in her own head of like, he's not trying. Well, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy of he is not trying then, instead of just letting him try to try. And he can't get out of his own head because he knows that she keeps pressing, she keeps wanting all this, but she just won't let it sit for a few days of like, hey, just let me be. I was on his side, Cher. I was like, you know what? I'm kind of on his side with this. Like, she's just got to back off a little bit and just let things play out. And then he makes the makeup comments. And I'm like, oh, this dude. So he says the reason that he can't like try and the reason he feels awkward around stuff is because when they first met, she had on all of this makeup for the big reveal and everything. She had on a lot of makeup, fake eyelashes and everything. And then, of course, when they go to Mexico and stuff, she doesn't have all that on. So he thought she was being fake. He thought that she was a fake person.
Just like a 32-year-old man.
Yes. He thought she was being fake. It was a fake person. And so now he feels awkward just talking to her. He's like, I love you naturally. Like, I think the face here is great. Like, the face you presented when we first revealed, I thought it was a fake person. I don't want to be with that person. Is this how you're going to be? Like, every time we go out, are you going to put on this makeup? And then she's like, huh? What? And he's like, most women would love to hear this. Like, most women would love, hey, you don't need to do a bunch of makeup and everything. I'm like, oh, buddy, you talk too much. You are talking too much. And I tell the wife
the wrong
all the time,
time to start talking.
Yeah, I tell the wife all the time. I'm like, this is what these people got to learn. They got to shut the up. They just got to shut the up because he is talking too much and getting himself in trouble with this. And he did. And she is just like, wow. And so she left. She spent the night by herself. She did say like, hey, I appreciate you finally talking to me type of thing. She tried to like end it on good terms. But yeah, we'll talk about how they actually ended because they did end. But when you heard these makeup comments shared LOR.
Listen, when he said, you felt fake to me, caked up face, fake eyelashes. So they show a clip where she said something about her fake eyelashes, and he said, I can tell. Excuse me. Like, are you fucking kidding me right now? So he told her that she presented fake, that she got caked up makeup all over his jacket. And I'm like, excuse me. I mean, it was honestly, I saw the clip of it on Twitter before I saw the episode, and I was like, you have got to be kidding me. And everybody's reacting to it, and they're like, I know this man, of all people, did not just say this to her. And when he really thought that she would have, like, been appreciative of him saying that.
Yeah.
There are appropriate ways to tell a woman that you prefer her to not wear makeup. There are. Like, I mean, that's not it at all. Like, that's not even close to it. It was so uncomfortable to watch because she's just sitting there, like, dumbfounded as he's saying this to her. And I'm thinking, it's supposed to be like it's your engagement. Like, you're going in there, you're dressed up, you're in a suit, she's in freaking a nice dress. You're supposed to be dressed up. Like, I don't understand what the issue is here. Like, what? I'm thinking, honestly, it didn't even seem like she had that much makeup on. Like, she had the eyelashes, but other than that, it was just like foundation. Like, she didn't look like a different person.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it was a lot.
No. And him saying that, I'm like, this is why you're single, honestly, because
you're looking for issues. You're Chandler Bing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's that, and he is completely, like, I don't want to say he's a Trump supporter or anything, but he is.
He is. Okay. He wears flags on everything that he wears.
Yes, everything is America with him. He's wearing like an American wife beater, American swim trunks, and everything. Like, everything.
One day she was like, "What color are your shoes today?" And he's like, "Red, white, and blue." I always wear red, white, and blue. And she's like, "Oh,
America."
Like,
yeah, he's completely just American dude of, like, I'm sure he does think that, like, oh, women who wear too much makeup are presenting a fake person. That's not who they really are behind their makeup and everything. It's like, dude, you didn't know what and she kind of made the same point. It's like, you didn't know what I looked like when we were talking and stuff. And you had these conversations with me and then you saw me and then you're like, wait, so the fake eyelashes are like, oh, I'm a completely different person. I was being fake this entire time just because I wore fake eyelashes. It's this man is just stupid. He is so stupid.
Well, and contrary to the belief of many men, mostly single men, think this. Women don't typically wear makeup for men. Women wear makeup because they want to wear it.
Yeah.
You know, like, I used to wear makeup all the time, and I work from home now, and I'm like, I don't really care. I don't wear makeup very often. Maybe once a month I put them on. I get eyelash extensions. I barely have any right now because I haven't had them done since before Chicago. And Reed got up next to my face the other day and was like, your eyelashes look terrible. I'm like, thank you. Get away from me, sir.
What?
But, like, my kid throws shade all the time. But, like, I get eyelash extensions because that's something that I want to do for myself. I get my hair done because that's something that I want to do for myself. Like, if she feels better wearing makeup, why would you not want her to wear it then? Like, she's not going to be wearing it 24/7. She's not worn it, like, at all the whole time that they've been on this trip. So
right. Well, his argument is like, well, you don't need it. You're already so beautiful. Like, I love you just like this. Like, okay, good. That's a good thing, by the way, that you accept her without the makeup and stuff. But yeah, do not be mad if she wants to go out and wear makeup and everything. Because he's like, when we go out on dates, when we go to parties and stuff, are you going to wear all this makeup? Like, if she wants to, sure, go
That's her
for it.
prerogative.
Doesn't mean anything.
Exactly. It's literally in the same vein as men who tell women what they can wear. Like, it is the same thing. And like, I have had men tell me before, like, you know, like, oh, you don't need to wear makeup. And I'm like, I'm aware. Like, that doesn't mean that I don't want to, you know, like, I don't wear makeup very often, but if I decide that I want to wear, then I'm going to put it on. Like, I mean, that's sometimes when I'm on wrestling trips, I'll go out and I'll have makeup on, and sometimes I don't. Like, it depends on my mood. So she knows that she doesn't have to wear makeup. Like, and also she's young. Like, she's 25, 26. I always joke that like I lived a whole life by then because I'd already been married and divorced and had 2 kids. But most people that age are not that way. She's only been out of college for a few years. She's a kindergarten teacher. Like, she is young. And a lot of times with younger women, they do have that ingrained in their head that they need to wear makeup. So telling her that she has a caked up face and she looks fake is not doing her any favors. You're not helping her out. Like, you're making her self-conscious by saying that. And I'm just thinking, like, who raised this man? Because, oh my God, it's so offensive to say that to somebody that you're supposed to love. Like,
I tell my wife all the time, like, you don't naturally beautiful. She doesn't need to wear makeup all the time. If she wants to wear makeup when we go out or for whatever reason, fine. That is
exactly.
That is what she wants to do. I completely support her. She still looks beautiful. And if she doesn't want to wear makeup at all, I'm completely fine with that as well.
Exactly.
Just be supportive of whatever their decision is.
Exactly.
It doesn't feel that difficult.
It
does not feel that difficult.
It's really not affecting you. If he finds her so unattractive with makeup on, that's a him issue. That's not on her. Because like I said, she barely even looked different. Like,
no, not at all. Not at all. And then so they separate for the night. She sleeps somewhere else. They meet for whatever in the morning to just talk. And he is like trying to apologize, trying to be like, well, I think we can move past this. Let's do this. I respect that she's like, you know what? Nah. Like, I ain't even trying to like see this through. Like, you suck. I don't think this is going to work at all. Here's your ring. Goodbye. And he looked like, huh? Because he definitely felt like, oh, it's
shocked.
Okay. Yeah, he definitely thought like, we're gonna move past this. We're gonna try to work this out. We're in Mexico. This is our honeymoon. Like, it's gonna be fine. And again, I respect that she's like, you know what? Nope. I don't think we can move past this. I don't think we can move past the awkwardness. I can't move past what you said. She was very mature about this. And she was very mature when he was saying all this stuff, just like sitting there, listening. She ended the night. She was like, you know, I appreciate that you finally talked to me. Like, I didn't like what you had to say, but like, thanks for at least telling me these things. And then left. Like, she was very mature.
She responded better than I would have.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you, buddy.
Fuck you, guy.
Yeah. Well, and I talked to Mrs. Jeremy about this, and like, we both said, I was proud of her for leaving him, because at no point for the rest of my life would I ever have been able to wear makeup and not think about what he had said.
She said the same thing. Yeah. Like, she's always going to remember that anytime she puts on makeup of like, oh, the first time he saw me like this, he didn't like me. He thought I was fake. And like,
she's probably still going to feel that way, even not being with him. Like, at least for a period of time, still think about, and like, okay, she's a teacher. Most teachers are going to wear some makeup to school. So she's wearing some sort of makeup every day anyways, going to school. And I just felt really bad for her, because there was, like I said, there was a way that he could have said that, and that was not it.
That was said nothing. That's what he could have done.
And then him acting shocked.
Yeah.
That was the part that got me, that he's like, I cannot believe that she's just throwing it all away just because I said she wears caked up makeup. Like, what?
So we have gone from 3 couples engaged in Mexico to 2 couples. So we only have 2 couples now getting engaged, and they seem fine. They seem stable, but let's fast forward to the party, the final episode of this batch, the party where everyone's there. JP and Taylor, by the way, just not on the show anymore. They had that, and then it's like, yeah, don't follow us around anymore. We're done. Don't even bother with us. But they go to this party. Johnny's there. Johnny and Chris do end up together. They apparently met each other at the airport, and it's like, oh, I love you, and everything seems fine. But at this party, we got.
I want to know how they met each other at the airport if they'd never met each other before. Were they just like, Johnny?
Yeah, they heard the voice.
No, they was like the voice. The Loveless Blind people were like, y'all sit together, y'all just gave up the show, and they're like, what's your name? What's your name?
So Johnny and Chris are there. Izzy and Stacy, Lydia and Milton, and then Uche shows up. Uche had met Aaliyah at like a diner, whatever. They finally met, and Aaliyah's like, I still love you. Like, I think we can make this work. Let's try to do this. And Uche was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we can do this. Like, so again, another couple that maybe they could have gotten together and done, because we saw it last season with the two that got together afterwards and were like, okay, well, we got 4 weeks to get married still. They decided no. Yeah, and Chris and Johnny, by the way, were probably smart about it. Like, hey, let's not let this show dictate our when we get married. Let's just like date maybe a little and then see how it goes. But we're at this party, so we have 2 confrontations. We have Izzy and Johnny talking, and Izzy just basically being like, "You're fake. You are a piece of shit. Like, you lied to everybody. Everyone here doesn't like you. You're the fakest person around." And then Johnny goes crying to Chris of like, he said all this. And Izzy goes to Stacy and is like trying to like high five and shit. Like, he just scored the game winning basket. Like, I told her she was fake. I told her no one likes her. Like, yeah, what's up? And Stacy's like, are we doing this? Like, that's what we're doing right now?
Going to your fiance about a girl that you were serious about. Like, it was between those two to be like, yeah, bro, guess what I did? What is wrong with these people?
And it doesn't seem like a lot of people like Johnny. And I think a lot of people don't like her because she said the stuff to Izzy, and then Izzy said no, and then she went to Chris and again said pretty much the same stuff, but like we talked about, the framing was a little bit different. But they probably don't have Johnny's side on it. They just have Stacy and Izzy's side. Yeah. That's it. Like, so that's where we're going with everything. Yeah. So Johnny's devastated on that. It looks like we're going to get a confrontation between Stacy and Johnny on the next batch of episodes. The big confrontation was Lydia and Uche as they try to explain what happened. And Uche is basically saying, like, you stalked all of people I was friends with on Instagram. You came by my house, took a picture, and be like, I see you. And Lydia, like, doesn't really refute any of these things. She's just like, does that sound like me? Does that sound like me? I don't even know how to do all of this. Like, I don't know. It does say, like, who sees the stories and everything. But then she was like, you know, should I tell everybody what you did and everything? And apparently he was like sexting with somebody while they were in a relationship, and she walked away. And again, Uche, I feel like, is just very much doesn't listen to anybody else. Like, he just is only going to hear his side of things and only cares about his perspective. And then he wants to go talk to Milton, and Milton came by and sat down, and even Lydia was like, no, just go away. Let me handle this. But yeah, he did not make friends too well with Lydia here. They were not able to move past a whole lot here.
Also, if you recall, Aaliyah asked him if he thought Lydia had followed him onto the show.
Yes.
And he said he didn't think so. So on Instagram Live the other day, the 1st, so 2 days ago, he has changed his tune. And he said that after some looking into it, people have determined that she, in fact, did apply for the show after seeing that he had applied for the show. Which, I'm not going to lie, would not surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me either.
But I guess he was following Love is Blind and some of the producers on Instagram once he applied, and she saw that, and then she applied for the show. That's weird.
Like, they were saying like she was like checking his emails and everything. Like, it would not surprise me at all. Like, because Aaliyah first kind of brought that up of like, did she know you were coming on the show? And Uche was like, no, definitely not. Like, it wasn't like that. But when she mentioned it, I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. That seems like it would check out that she probably stalked him onto this show.
And knowing then that she's checking his emails and stuff like that, like, absolutely. Then she applies for it and she manages to get on the show because she is a successful single woman. And I'm like, ooh, it just, I don't know. This season, these are so many unlikable people.
I don't like people. I've determined I don't like really anyone outside of I think Milton's okay. He's just young and I don't know if he's ready for this very serious.
Oh, that was the other thing. The person that Lydia did end up with, because Lydia's 30 or going on 31. Milton is 25. 24.
Yeah, I think he's 24. He's 24 and still in school. Lives with a roommate in this apartment where all they do is play Pokemon. Which bless, he's not going out and going crazy with parties and stuff, but he's just young. He's young.
In the previews, his mother asked what a 30-year-old wants with a 24-year-old, and I'm thinking the same thing, to be honest. As a 30-year-old, like, I can't even have a conversation with a 24-year-old, so I'm like, I would like to know the answer to this as well. Like,
I don't mind Milton. I don't fully mind Stacy. Like, she seems okay. She might be a little materialistic. Mm-hmm. She talked about the paper plate stuff of like, so you just serve women. This man having his lost and found, that was outrageous. He showed, so here's what happened in SP3. They go and they visit each other's apartments and everything. And he's like, oh yeah, I got a lost and found drawer with all of these women who may have left like a hair clip or a ring or an earring or something. And he shows his now fiance his lost and found drawer. And she's like, do you know who this belongs to? And he's like, nope, I don't know who any of this stuff belongs to. And it's like, why are you doing this?
Why are you showing her?
Yes. One, why do you have it? Like, are they going to come back?
Yeah. One, why do you have it? But you showed it.
Like... So that was one of the wildest things I've ever heard in my life. Because typically, how many people are you sleeping with that you're finding? Like, okay, if I find a freaking tie the next day after I sleep with somebody, I'm like, oh, that's his tie. Yeah. Like, it's not, deduction is not that difficult in this situation. So, like, I'm assuming these are one-night stands. So you think you're going to forget this person and hook up with them again, and they're going to be like, oh, that fucking hair clip I've been looking for 2 years.
That's my hair clip.
That's what I'm thinking as well. It's like, does every new woman, because when Stacey asked, like, do you know who this belongs to? He's like, no idea. It's like, so you just don't even remember their name? So, like, does he bring back a new woman? And one, he would have to forget that he slept with him in the first place. And two, does he show them like, hey, have you been here before? Want to check this lost and found drawer? Did you leave something here potentially last time that I don't remember when we slept together?
He walks him into his place and is like, hey, I would like for you to check out my lost and found drawer. Is that hair clip yours?
Right.
Like, what? I mean, okay. I know athletes. He's not that. But they sometimes don't even get a name when they sleep with somebody. Like, they're here for a good time, not a long time. Okay. Yeah. Defeats the purpose of a lost and found drawer because they don't give a shit. Like, all right, I don't even know your name. We're not going to hook up again. So, like, I'm going to throw your $3 hair clip from Walmart away. Why are we, like, that's just a braggadocious thing at that point.
Yes, that's what the wife said, is she was like, he just showed her all of this and keeps all of this to brag. about it,
Yes.
because otherwise there's no purpose in having any of this. Because Stacey was like, why didn't you like throw this stuff away? What are you gonna do with this hairband or this earring? Like what are you doing with any of this? Because she said, like, she had pictures, I guess, of exes or whatever, and she tossed them. I don't know if she actually tossed them or if she just like put them in a box or whatever.
But either way,
She's
they're
like,
not displayed.
yes, they're not
Like-
displayed, and she's not like, hey, want to check out all these pictures of my ex-boyfriend and things like that? Like,
I got a
yeah,
scrapbook. You want to look at it?
yeah, it's like, what are we doing? But yeah, the wife was like, he is just trying to be braggadocious on this. Like,
Well,
yeah,
and she was
basically.
already concerned because everybody had already told her, like, he's a player. He was in those pods playing all
Yeah.
three, like, he told Johnny that he had a deeper connection with her, and that the stuff with Stacey, like him and Stacey didn't get deep on anything. Everything was just a surface level. And that's why Johnny thought he was going to go with her. And she broke up with Chris, and then he's like, no, like, I'm going to go with Stacey instead. Okay, whatever. But then she's already concerned about you being a player, and you take her there and show her all the, like, and they even said, I remember at one point in the women's, they were like, have you asked them, like, how many people they've slept with? And the women were like, no, like, as long as they're clean, I don't care. Like, I don't need to know that. Like, that's a past thing. When I was younger, that would have been something that I was concerned about, because typically, like, younger women especially, I'm not going to speak for men, but younger women especially are really concerned with, like, how many partners you've had. I don't care now. Like, we're in our 30s, so I'm like, okay, like, whatever. I don't care, but I also don't want to hear about them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to know that she left her hair clip here after you freaking banged her up against the door. Like, I don't need to know this. Why are you keeping? I'm not using her hair clip. And
Right.
if I'm moving in with you, the hair clip's leaving. We ain't both gonna live here. Like, it's so weird to me. When he did that, I'm like, this may be the stupidest thing I've ever seen a man do in my life. Like,
he is very, very dumb. And like, because when they were in Mexico and he talked to Lydia, and again, Lydia was the first person he kind of had to let down because she was attached. Lydia had clearly moved on. She's with Milton. She's engaged. Everything's fine.
yes.
And he's like talking about his decision. He just kept talking and like over explaining everything. And Lydia's just like, okay, dude, cool. You're with her now. Like,
Yeah.
why do you need to like why do you need to give me a dissertation of like where you were at and everything? Like, can we just not just be like, hey, like, I just didn't have that kind of connection with you. I had this guy. Okay, cool. Maybe I fell too hard too fast. I've moved on. You've moved on. We are good. It's a 2-second conversation. This man talked for about 20 minutes of why he did all of this. And she looked bored out of her mind. And I think it was the same thing with Johnny, is just like, he wants to make himself look good. And that's the whole thing with the lost and found. Like, oh, I want to make myself look good. Look at all these women I've slept with. Oh, I need to justify my decision. Oh, you have wronged me in this way, even though you didn't really wrong me. And now I'm going to make you look bad so I look better. And that's why he goes to his wife or his fiance, is like looking for high five validation of like, yeah, I talked down to this woman. Like, high five, bro. Like, what are we doing? This guy sucks.
Well, and truly, like, Stacey never even said anything negative about Johnny that they showed when they were all still in the pods.
Yeah.
Like, she would say stuff about, like, how she hoped that he chose her. Now, Johnny did say negative stuff about Stacey, and they would be like, oh, don't worry, they'll break up in 2 weeks. Oh, don't, like, all the other girls trying to reassure her too were like talking shit about Stacey.
Yeah.
But Stacey was never, that they showed, mean to Johnny. So for him to go up to her and think that she's going to be like, oh, I'm so proud of you for hurting her feelings. Like, why are you even still concerned with this is really the bigger issue. Like, are you going to throw her in your freaking lost and found drawer too? Like, I mean, what are we doing here? I just, the lost and found drawer, if I ever in my life went to man, woman, anybody, went into their place and they not only had one, but thought that they needed to show it to me. Like, you could have just kept that to yourself.
Yes.
You could have been quiet.
He is like, why am I going to clean up? Why am I going to throw these things out? Like, we're supposed to know everything about each other. Like, I'm being real with you. He's trying to justify this of like, I didn't do this because you're going to see every part of me. It's like, dude, you got to sometimes save yourself.
There's some parts of you that nobody should see. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's the part. Like, it's just very strange to me. I mean, I just don't understand. And like, I have some friends that I really wanted to text afterwards and be like, do you have a lost and found drawer of items from women that you have slept with? Because I'm concerned that you might. Like, it's a hair clip. Throw it away. Nobody's like, damn, that hair tie that I lost in October of 2022. I really wish I had it back. Like,
you never know.
It's okay. Throw it away. And the fact that you don't even know who they belong to. So it's not even like you know these people's names. If you don't know their names, they probably don't know your name. So I'm sure that they're not like, I gotta go find Izzy. I gotta go get my damn hair clip back. Like, what is wrong with these people? Oh my god.
All of these people suck. All of them suck. So we'll be back next week to talk more Love is Blind as they release the latest batch. We only have 2 weddings. 2 weddings. That's it. We'll see what else happens, but only 2 weddings right now. We'll have challenge recap. I did not watch the latest episode, but I'll be caught up by next week. Anything else? Your One Tree Hill season rankings is out. Everyone can go check out that video that came out on Sunday. In case anybody missed it here on Fightful Overbooked, go check that out.
There was nothing going on this weekend, so
why
anybody would miss
nothing
it.
at all.
Wasn't
nothing
like
at
a
all.
whole bunch of shows or anything.
Yeah.
To answer A-Shock, that House of Villains looks really good.
Okay, I've not seen this, but I want to watch this. Like, I want to.
What is it?
It's got Johnny Bananas, New York, Tiffany Pollard.
I'm in right then. I'm in on
Omarosa.
Oh,
Omarosa.
okay.
Johnny Fairplay.
Oh yeah, I need to see all of them put Bananas in his place.
For me as a 90 Day Fiance fan, they have one of the greatest villains in 90 Day history, Anna Visa. If you know
okay.
Yes,
all right.
yes, yeah. Hurry up and get my bag.
I'm in.
Oh my god, I am here. I'm sold on it. Shake from Love Is Blind.
Oh god.
Okay. When does this come out?
I think this week or next week.
All right, hold on. Let me
Omarosa, New York.
October 12th.
October 12th. So next
They've
week.
got Jax from Vanderpump Rules. Tanisha. I thought that was Tanisha from Bad Girls Club.
Yeah.
The one that had the pots and pans. If I ain't gonna sleep, nobody else is.
Oh yeah, Shake. Yeah, Shake. Okay. Kareem.
It says it premieres on the 12th.
Yeah.
So
Thursday. That's a Thursday.
Sweet.
That's the I think. Wait, isn't this week the challenge comes back to the end of October because that's when this season will end.
All right. Yeah, I'm in on this. I know my lovely life is watching. We're watching this.
We have this. Carol Baskin, Abby Lee Miller from Dance Moms, Spencer Pratt from The Hills, Ben Robinson from Below Deck, and Danielle Staub from Real Housewives of New Jersey will all also be on the show making guest appearances.
Wow.
Yeah, this is going to be just
awesome. I can't wait. Tiffany Pollard is back on a reality television.
Yeah, New York and Omarosa being back, like that's
amazing.
Those are big gets right there.
New York is one of the all-time great trash reality.
She is.
stars.
Oh yes.
Yeah. All right, so we're watching this. F-Boy Island starts up again pretty soon too, so we're gonna have to watch that. So good. That's trash reality is back, baby.
Trash reality is back. So that's a perfect cue. Can I get 90 seconds in 90 days? You denied me last week. You denied me last week. I didn't even.
You know what,
SP3?
Wrong. You know what? You were on good behavior this week. So I will give you 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Oh, thank you. There's so much to discuss here.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Go.
All right, so Kalani and Asuelo, they had a much better week this past week. They had like all the couples around like a pool, and they were all getting drunk, and it was mad cold, and they made the guys take their robes off and go play volleyball in the pool. I was like, man, these producers are awful. So then they started like talking all the couples around like the pool, and Asuelo and Kalani started getting drunk. And like I've established in all these 90 seconds of 90 days, they are not in a good place in their marriage, but they were actually flirting with one another. And Asuelo got so drunk, he started giving Kalani a lap dance in front of everybody. And a literal lap dance, ladies and gentlemen. He took off 3 pairs of towels, and all I saw was his ass with Roman Reigns tattoo on it. Yes, he's Samoan. He basically, his ass has the Roman Reigns.
I thought you meant Roman
on it.
Reigns' face on his ass.
No. He has the Roman Reigns tattoo. The tattoo that Roman Reigns got, that Hanari got on his face, he got it on his ass. That's all you saw on screen. He started dancing. He's only got the towel on his slong at this point, dancing on Kalani. Then he starts dancing on a table that has fire on it. So literally, he almost like burned off his tip or the towel. Either or, one of them was gonna get burned because dude was dancing. It was tribal cheeks. You got it, Trey. That's it. Tribal cheeks. Right there. Great stuff. Meanwhile, you got Molly, who is from Georgia. Her and Kelly are just in a bad place. Like, Kelly walked out. They were having Kama Sutra training, which Ed was ridiculous. Him and Liz were just humping each other. So all you heard was Ed like, the whole time during the Kama Sutra training. Kelly like walked out because Molly said that she was not in love with him and they don't love each other. So it's like, why the hell are you even there? So he was annoyed that she was even at the party. He like walked out on the whole party. He's been getting more loving from Asuelo than he has been getting from Molly. Asuelo brought his robe to the party around the pool. Not even his wifey did that. That's the disrespectful things going on. Meanwhile, you got what's her name? What's her name that's always yelling? Michael. Angela. Yes. Angela, she's actually growing more affectionate towards Michael because they did the Kama Sutra training and she had a blow up doll with a fake dick, while Michael had a big like sofa thing, and he was looking into her eyes as he's doing all of this, and like she said she felt a connection that she had never felt before. So they're in a good place. Asuelo and Kalani got drunk and they were rubbing against each other. They're in a good place.
Thank you for this recap, SC3. Tribal cheeks is amazing. I don't need you doing this, Michael. Like whatever that was.
That's what Michael is doing. Michael. He's like, Michael, look into my eyes, Michael.
All right, everybody. We'll be back next week. We'll catch up on the challenge. NBA season preview coming up pretty soon. Training camps open. Season preview probably in 2 weeks. I would think. And then we'll do fantasy draft as well. I think the league kind of just rolled over. So if you were in the league last year, you might have gotten an email that the league has rolled over. So I'll institute all of that. Cher Delaware, do you have anything to plug?
Yeah, watch the new episodes of Love is Blind so you can have opinions next week when we talk about it again. And I don't know, the challenge.
Yes.
And watch our One Tree Hill season ranking. And we need Cher in the fantasy league. She won't know anything, but it will get her more
taking
familiar.
Steph.
Steph Curry. It's a step in the right direction where she get more familiar.
Yeah, there we go. I mean, that one year we did the March Madness for Fightful, and I hadn't watched any basketball, and we were on like way into it, and I was leading by like twice as much as what everybody else had, and everybody was so pissed because I'm like, that team sounds good when I was picking. Everybody else was busted after like third game. Oh, and also congratulations to our favorite challenger, one of them, Weston Bergman, on his beautiful baby.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Weston Bergman, congratulations. Also, if you have a little extra and you want to support the challenge, Nelson needs help
Yes.
Yes.
with his
Oh,
leg
that
amputee
one.
after the accident. So
Yeah, that one's heartbreaking. If
Yeah.
you can support Nelson, please do, because Nelly T just seems like he's dumb on the show, but genuinely nice guy. And,
generally a nice guy. He probably the most unselfish move in challenge history is when he threw himself into elimination for Corey.
the comeback story is going to be great. Hopefully,
Yeah.
he gets his comeback story.
Yes.
All right, SP3, you want to plug anything?
Twitter machine or X machine at True Hill SP3. Right now, you can go over to True Hill Heat YouTube channel because my No Mercy review is up right now. It's running, so you could go check that out, get my recap, and hear my ratings as I had one of the highest rated WWE matches of the year was on that show.
There you go. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week. A bunch of stuff on Fightful Overbook. Go check out the interview we did with Santana, myself, and Joel Pearl.
Really good stuff.
Thank
really
you.
good stuff.
It was cool to talk to him. He's a really good dude. So we apparently broke news or got news stories out of that. I don't know. We'll never want to do that again.
Harlem makes good dudes. Harlem makes good dudes. Mike Santana represent.
We're back next week, everybody.